Hi, my name is Jeff Williams, and I'm the Senior Claims Advisor at USI Insurance Services. I have a history and background as the Vice President of Risk Management and in the staffing industry for over a decade. And I want to talk about how risk management, risk identification is the most important part of the risk management process. And if you think about it, you can't do the other parts of the risk management process without identifying the risk first. You can't do the analysis, you can't do the control, you can't do the finance, you can't touch any of it without risk identification being the first part of the process. Unfortunately, most organizations do not have the resources to put into their risk management departments. They can't be everywhere. And the challenge you have is you have to be able to identify that risk before we can do the other things like we talked about. So what do you do as an organization in order to identify risk? What you have to do is you have to be able to build a culture and an environment where everyone in the organization is part of that risk identification process. And that's what we want to talk about. So for example, in the staffing industry, we had on-sites and we had branch staff. And we would always ask them, every day, we want you to go out and complete either twice per shift or to one client's location, if it's the branch staff, go out and complete a checklist that we created and go through the facility and take a look and see some of the risks that are out there. Now, this checklist had things in it like general safety items. Are they lifting correctly? Is the PPE correct? Are they wearing it the correct way? Are they using the proper tools? Are the areas that they work in clear of obstruction? Now, think about this though. That's a checklist, but we're also asking them to go in and do a physical inspection in that process. So it's not just one risk identification tool, it's multiple risk identification tools. And that's how you have to tackle risk identification. You have to go in and use multiple tools combined together to tackle risk identification. Now, with all of that being said, our teams, it was difficult at first. They don't have the experience that risk management and safety professionals have in looking for risks. So over time, it took them some time. They didn't like doing it at first, but over time and that repetition, it became second nature to them, to the point where they no longer needed to do the checklist in order to see those risks. They'd be out on the floor from an HR standpoint trying to manage staff, and they might see somebody not wearing their PPE coming back from break, right? Coming back from break, you got your headphone or your earplugs and maybe out around your neck. You forgot to put them back in. Simple mistake. Hey, please put your earplugs back in. Things like that. It's a great way to build culture. Now, with all that being said, we still required, even though they got good at it, we still required them to complete their checklists and their physical inspections. And the reason we did that is you have turnover, you have things, the process needs to remain the same. Just because you get good at it doesn't mean we're going to stop the process. So we asked them to do it throughout every day. And over time, we managed to reduce our number of incidents, our claims cost, and overall improve the organization's profitability. And that's what we are all doing. So again, risk management, risk identification, that's why it's the most important part of the process. Is we want to lower cost, lower incident rates, and the only way you can do all of those things is if you identify the risk first and build that culture.